Hello, my friends. Welcome back. It's time for the Morning Mindset. Time for you and for me to get our minds aligned with the truth of God. And to start it off, I want to ask you to think of something right now that's not very hard for you to come up with. And that is the one thing that is the most stressful thing in your life at this moment. If you got it, you got that in mind, keep that in mind as we talk about the issues we're going to be reading about today in Luke chapter 12, verses 32 through 34. Many times, the things in life that stress us the most are the things that are most front burner, the pressing things, the things where we find ourselves in need, where we find ourselves in a crisis moment of some sort. And I want to remind you that over at notaneedyperson.org, we have people who have submitted needs to us and asked, can you put this out for other people to help with this need? And you can come alongside and help someone in their time of need to demonstrate God's goodwill and favor toward them. You can find out more at notaneedyperson.org. Today, we're going to read again Luke chapter 12, verses 32 through 34, and we're going to hone in on the last verse, verse 34. For context, here's the entire passage. It says, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give to the needy. Provide yourselves with moneybags that do not grow old, with a treasure in the heavens that does not fail, where no thief approaches and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." All right, so Jesus is teaching on anxiety, and he's already diagnosed where anxiety comes from. He said, number one, it comes from a lack of faith in God to care for us as he's promised he will. And it also comes from fear. He says right here at the beginning of verse 32, he says, "Fear not, little flock." And that fear often comes from the lack of faith. It comes from a lack of understanding sometimes that our Father is good and he's oriented toward us with his good pleasure to give us his kingdom. And so Jesus goes on in these verses, and as we mentioned yesterday, he gives us a new mindset, a new way to think, that our focus is not to be on the things of this earth, what we're going to eat, what we're going to drink, what we're going to wear, the possessions that we think will give us security, but rather we're to put our confidence in the fact that our security is already provided for us through our Father's good intention toward us. And we're to advance our purposes for his sake as citizens of his kingdom. So we give of our possessions if need be. We lay up treasures in heaven where nothing's going to be ruined or be torn apart through inflation or through loss. And we lay up those treasures by putting our heart and our mind on the things of God and pursuing those things primarily. And verse 34, where he says, "Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." He's giving us kind of a warning light, sort of a gauge on the dashboard of our car, the car of our souls. He's saying, if you find that your heart is filled with anxiety or fear or doubt or apprehension or whatever you fill in the blank, then that is serving you as a warning light on the dashboard of your soul that your treasure is in the wrong place. You're treasuring the wrong thing. You see, worry and anxiety come when we look at our lack of fill in the blank stuff, health, longevity, good relationships, whatever it might be in your case. When we focus on those things, we're treasuring them more highly than we ought. Jesus is saying when you put your treasure, your focus on what's really important, which is your place in God's economy as a citizen of his kingdom, and you have the privilege and the benefit of enjoying those kingdom blessings, but also advancing his kingdom purposes, then you will be able to let go of anxiety over all those things. You will be able to direct your attention to God's things, and foundational to all of that is trust that he has got you. He's caring for you. He's going to take good care of you because you're his little flock, as Jesus says here. He is our shepherd and takes care of us. Jesus, show us where our treasure really is through the existence or the lack of anxiety and fear. Help us see it for what it is, as an indicator of where our hearts are aimed and what we're really valuing and treasuring. Jesus set us free from fear and anxiety. As your people, even in a crazy world like this, show us how to shine as people who trust you and are confident in what you're doing, that we can exude that godly confidence to those who are in need around us.